Recently working up in New York with a new friend, Cory. Cory knew an awful lot about food plots, no-tilling, cover crops. He had an amazing program. So amazing, his own words do a better job describing his project, his successes, than I can. I hope you really enjoyed the information Cory shared. Hey, I'm in New York today, the Finger Lakes region, when you
Finger
say
Lakes
exactly.
Region. Yes, sir.
I'm with Cory. Cory and I just met, but we've already become friends for several reasons. But one, Cory's a big soil health guy, self-taught.
Yes. Little help from my no-till farmer, but pretty much self-taught on soil health. Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
So Cory and I just starting a tour of his farm. He was telling me about some stuff, and it was so excited I wanted to stop and let him share it with you. And I'm just letting Cory run. He may run faster and I can get the camera pointed, but just tell everyone what you were just telling me.
So when it came time to plant this particular field here, this was an area where we had pretty much straight brassica, which we didn't put in that mix a good spring emergent. So I was aware that as springtime came, I was going to get more invasive weeds and things that I really didn't want on the soil.
Stop you and say, you see a spring emergent, you're talking about something comes up quick and out competes weeds.
Yes, sir. Something that comes up quick and out competes weeds. You know, example being rye grain, something that you put into your fall blend that comes up. We've had great luck here with stuff like hairy vetch, crimson clover.
Yes.
That being said, it was not in our brassica blend because my experience in past was with turnips and radishes and things that were really good cold forage food for whitetail. When you're growing them, they don't necessarily like to compete with other plant species. So I'm aware of when I plant them relatively alone so that they can be vibrant. And then in addition to that, however, the downside is that there's not that big spring emergence. So in this particular field, the day that we were starting to no-till, we had a nice 6-seed blend, and we did a test strip right here with the drill. We ran it about 50 feet, and I made the determination at that time that it just wasn't quite dry enough for me to drill the 4 or 5 acres. I had some dirt catching up on the coulters and certain things that you look for that wasn't necessarily favorable, and it needed to dry just a tad bit more. So we decided to put it off for a couple days. And then and then rain got us and kind of threw us back a little bit, and there was going to be rain in the forecast for some time, and I was a little nervous about then what was going to grow. So we came out here and I called it a Hail Mary. I said there was going to be rain for about 10 days, and I said, Jeremy, let's throw a Hail Mary. And we put a big spreader on the back of the tractor, and we went through the whole rest of this field, and we quickly broadcast double the rate, maybe a little over double the rate of the seed that we normally would with our drill. And just in the very best effort to control submerging weeds and the things that we didn't want, hoping that they would germinate. We returned here just a couple days ago, or last week, and to find that our little test strip germinated really well. All 5 species of our plants are growing. They're all coming out well. And where we broadcast was almost a complete failure. It was exposed dirt, all the things that we're not fans of. We still had weeds. We had massive amount of birds eating the seed. And so consequently, you can see now, I got the drill out and we drilled right into our failed broadcast. And this is only, that's 5 days old. So the germination rate and the success of this field after 5 days is 200% more effective than what that 10-day broadcast was with rain. So that broadcast of seed, it had rain, it had all the things that it needed other than it wasn't really making it 100% underneath the soil. It didn't have the nutrients of the soil. It had exposure to birds and sunlight and so on and so forth. So I feel like if I had to do it over again, I just would have left it the way that it was. And if I had weeds come up that I didn't like, then I just would have drilled and sprayed.
Yeah.
We were trying to not spray. That being said, I feel like the success of what it is that you want to plant supersedes what you need to do to get there sometimes.
Herbicide's just a tool, right?
It's just a tool. It's just a tool.
And you don't need it, but if you do, it's there.
It's very necessary from time to time. And, we couldn't live without it. We have a lot of our farm this year that we didn't need a herbicide, and we've been very successful crimping. But there's an example of, because of the species we put in the fall, it just didn't have the spring emergent. It didn't have the friendly plant species coming up to do what we wanted it to do. And so there's the difference.
Yeah, it's a great comparison right here. We got drilled right here, a little earlier, but got good seed soil contact, broadcast, and then you can see the drill marks the lines, and it's just coming up.
Yeah, broadcast was almost a complete failure, and the new drill is 100% success. It's only we have rain in the forecast the next few days. This will look like this in 4 days.
Yeah, awesome.
So, for example, in this field, this is an old aerial of this field, and this triangle right here, this 4 represents 4 acres. So the old landowner, he had a 4-acre triangle here where he planted corn after corn after corn after corn, and it was for deer. It wasn't for harvest, but it was tilled and planting corn and doing what you do when you plant corn to get the best corn that he could. And so when I was doing soil tests to figure out what species of plants to put where and why, that particular piece, the pH in that area was 5.2, which you're not going to get. A lot of the things that we like to grow for whitetail aren't going to flourish in a pH of 5.2, no matter what the surface is.
I'm going to interrupt you just a second so folks home know pH is on a logarithmic scale. So the difference between 5 and 6 is 10-fold.
Yes.
Difference between 5 and 7 is 100-fold. So there's a big difference. It's not just 1, 2, 3, 4.
And a lot of the things that, and Grant, you could chime in a little bit more than me, but in my experience, based on selecting species of plants, the things that we do like to plant for whitetails and things that are very palatable to them, full of nourishment. Also, in addition to the animal, the plant is also, these particular same plants, they have a massive amount of attributing additional health to the soil and fixing the soil.
Yes.
So, and that type of stuff really likes to be in that 6 area. You know, that neutral 6.2. You can grow most all of the species that we desire in a pH in that 6 range, where you're just not going to have success in low 5s. And in that same field, we would walk 25 yards out of that cornfield into an area that was not planted. Obviously, there's no weather change. It's the same amount of sunlight. It's the same amount of rain. It's the same amount of wind. And we could get a pH of 6.2. We could get a pH of 6.2 20 yards away from something that was a 5.2. Same bat time, same bat channel, same bat everything. Just what was planted there previously and how was that ground worked.
Yeah, so that's a 10-fold difference, not a 10-fold difference in 30 yards or less, just because of past farming practices.
Correct.
And a lot of tillage is the worst thing we do. Tillage is worse than herbicide. And so he was tilling this land, and really bad, nasty things happen to the soil when you till.
And so it took a lot of so we were very, in that first year, we were very specific as to what we wanted to do with this 4 acres. And a no-till farmer doesn't like ruts. We don't like rocks, but there's certain things you have to go through that process to get that fixed.
Sure.
And not only do the species of plants that you select, not only will they repair the soil relatively fast, nothing's overnight, but 2 years on a big farm and 6 or 7 plantings go by pretty quick. And then you'd be surprised how not only does it change the soil health, not only does it raise the pH, it creates a very good viable amount of organic matter in the soil, and the amount of things that you can grow after treating it just a little while with the different plant species, it's magic. It really is.
It's magic.
It's magic.
And you've made this improvement, if I understand correctly, without adding lime. Or did you add lime?
We added in the first year, we added 2 tons of lime per acre in the really bad spots.
Okay.
This year, not a drop of lime.
Yeah.
Not a single, not a drop. As a matter of fact, in our food plot areas outside of cash crop, we don't even fertilize here already. You know, we're year 3. Last year we had unbelievable stands in year 2, and we didn't fertilize any of our probably 40 acres of big, giant, oversized 5 seed blends, 4 seed blends of big food plots. No fertilizer, amazing success, just from treating the soil with plants.
And what we're really doing is following a natural process, because a natural prairie has a wide diversity of plants, and letting those roots and do all their work. So anyway, Cory, that is great information. Cory's plot's about dialed in as my prime is right now. I'm getting ready for hunting season, and I hope you enjoyed the lessons and techniques Cory shared. Even more importantly than having great food plots is having a personal relationship with our Creator. And I hope each of you take time and seek the Creator's will for your life daily. Thanks for watching Growing Deer.